Now, Pavarotti was a good friend.
Hello. Welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, here to discuss the Idaho 4 case, among other things. As a disclaimer, this channel is for entertainment purposes. These are my opinions. I'm not here to slander anyone. With that being said, let's get started. Well, folks, it's been a really busy week. I'm going to apologize. I haven't been able to dive into too much investigating. I've got a lot of things I still haven't shared with you that I'm going to be putting out. But, I like to stay pretty focused on this case. But it's been just a busy week, so I haven't been able to do a lot of deep diving this week. I have been able to watch a few videos, other content creators, and keep up with what's going on. And I've gotten sidetracked on this one guy. And y'all know who I'm talking about. And he's kind of an enigma. It was kind of an enigma. Now, when I first started this, it's very interesting. I would notice, and when I first started, for those of you that have been with me for a long time, my original thoughts before I really started deep diving and investigating this thing was that the law enforcement had everything correct. They were just lying to the public about what the case was about. I thought they had the right guy, but they were explaining it in a totally fraudulent way to protect the school. And I still believe I'm right about that. However, as I began to deep dive and really look at the investigation, and I learned that the people involved in the investigation weren't really the people I thought they were. And then I looked into how they investigated it and started uncovering the things that I've uncovered. And I came to the conclusion along the way that, they got the wrong guy. This guy's been set up. And when I did that and I started to lean towards the innocence of Bryan Kohberger, it's funny, that's when I really started to receive some interesting feedback from certain individuals. And I always knew as I went through this, because I was hitting home on some things that I know were true, and I knew that the feds had people that would go into the comment section on content creators, and they would try to send them down rabbit holes with red herrings. And they're very good at what they do, and it works a lot of the time on content creators. I've tried to ignore that because I can recognize them. However, some of these guys are pretty slick, and some of these are just guilters that just can't get around anything. Like y'all all know, I know my commenters know who I'm talking about when I say Vivian. She was a troll in my comment section. Never appeared until I started to talk about the innocence of Bryan Kohberger, but once I did, appeared, and she appears in any content creator that advocates for the innocence of Bryan Kohberger. She appears in their comment section, and I let her go for a long time in there because I don't like to suppress anybody's comments. I tell everybody, post what you want to post. But she was really getting on the nerves of my other subscribers, and they were letting me know this, so finally I just blocked her. And when I did, I made a troll come to life. She makes her own videos now, mainly about me. But it's okay. She's just a guilter. I think she's a little bit smarter than she is, and she does what she can to advocate for the guilt of Bryan Kohberger, no matter what evidence you put in front of her. That's okay. People like that are okay. I don't think she's a fed. I think she's just misguided. But then you got people like Get a Clue. Now see, that guy is different. And I have studied him this week because I just wasn't sure what he was. Because he does things in a very slick manner. But when you watch his videos, here's what I've determined this week. Get a Clue is a fed. He is absolutely a fed. And I really didn't think when I started this that really feds would give a crap about this, but he is actually a fed. He's a misinformation specialist, and he's very good at what he does. And let me explain, because he gets a lot of people to follow him and believe what he's saying, because he talks in a manner in which you think he's showing you evidence that's exculpatory for Bryan Kohberger. However, what you don't see is the gaslighting and the subconscious suggestions that he does the entire time that he's explaining possible exculpatory evidence towards Mr. Kohberger. And if you watch his videos going forward, I want you to listen, look closely and listen. I counted in one video at least 14 times where he declared a simple statement. Now, this does verify what was said in the PCA. Now, this does back up what was said in the PCA. If you notice on all of his videos, even the ones that he is claiming to show exculpatory evidence towards Bryan Kohberger, he will slyly point out that, oh, now this is exculpatory. This isn't a Hyundai Elantra on the Linda Lane camera. Now, that doesn't mean the Hyundai Elantra is not captured on the King Road camera. In fact, this right here is proof in the PCA that the PCA is correct in this point, and he'll do that over and over and over as he's explaining other things. He's tricking you. He's a fed. He's doing a misinformation. He's acting like he's on Kohberger's side, but at the same time, he's trying to back up in your mind everything the PCA says. Absolute fed. The other thing that it doesn't take too long to figure out is when you go through and you start looking at his videos, look who he has the most animosity to. He may say that he doesn't like Nancy Grace and people like that, but he has the most animosity to the content creators out there that actually advocate for the innocence of Bryan Kohberger. I mean, he detests harsh reality. Talks about Harsh all the time. Terrible. Harsh is a great guy. But he hates Harsh, and he hates Harsh for one reason. Because Harsh will not admit that Bryan Kohberger is guilty. Harsh advocates for innocent until proven guilty. Drives him crazy. He talks about jewels of the trade. Talks about how she doesn't fix her hair, got her hair in a towel. So what? Do it, do your videos how you want to do your videos. He doesn't like her because she advocates for the fact that Bryan Kohberger could be innocent. Me. Never said a word about me when I used to say that I thought Kohberger was guilty. The second that I changed my tune and I started thinking, hey, you know what? It looks like Kohberger's not guilty based on this. Well, I became public enemy number one to him. Anyway, A.R. Hayes talks terrible about A.R. Hayes. He calls all of us the despicables because we're advocating the fact that Bryan Kohberger is probably innocent in this manner. Drives him crazy because that's not his agenda. His agenda is misinformation to back up the federal and the local state case. And if that's not enough evidence for you, think about this. The one person in the entire case so far that has shed doubt on the state's case is Cy Ray. Now, somebody that believes that Kohberger is innocent until proven guilty and they want truth and justice for all, when they bring in a guy like Cy Ray who understands the cast data that is going to be used against Bryan Kohberger in trial, and he is very qualified to be able to refute that cast data, this has thrown this get a clue guy, this fed, into a mental uproar. He acts and says things like, she shouldn't have picked Cy Ray because this is all junk science. That is his ploy, to act like he really cares about the case against Bryan Kohberger. But all he's really doing with his cybristophiliac stuff is he's trying to demonize Cy Ray. He's trying to steer everybody's thought pattern about Cy Ray in the wrong direction, because that is what this guy does. He is a paid misinformation specialist. He is a Fed. Now, when you talk about Cy Ray, when you get to court, it doesn't matter if you got up and you made the best case in the world for the CAST data being junk science, because the FBI CAST team is going to testify in court to their findings in the CAST report. When they do that, you have to have an expert who understands the findings in the CAST report that can refute their evidence. That is called an expert versus expert. If you don't have that and you send up a suggestion that it's all junk science, then Bryan Kohberger is going to be found guilty. And Get a Clue knows this, but he continues to go on and disparage Cy Ray. And that is absolutely ridiculous, because let me tell you, I've been watching Cy Ray, and I really like Cy Ray. And I watched a video that he did on his podcast with him and his wife, where he was talking about, I believe, I'm going to be interested in this one, because he was talking about the Breaking Bad case that he worked back when he was just regular law enforcement. Cy Ray took down, and this was back well before 2005 when they passed the Stop Methamphetamine Act. Back then, the lab situation in America was enormously out of control and to the point of being scary. There was labs popping up everywhere. That was the biggest threat to the United States in the late 90s and early 2000s. And there was a lot of people, that worked hard to stop that, to combat that. And when Cy Ray went the extra mile to take a 5,500 gallon drum of red phosphorus off the street, when I heard that, man, that guy's a hero. Do you know what 5,500 pounds of red phosphorus would have done back in the early 2000s before they passed the law where you couldn't buy the Sudafed without going and giving your license at the pharmacy? The whole half the country would have been a meth lab. I mean, that guy is a hero. And to hear this Get a Clue disparage him and demean him and say that he is actually advocating for truth and justice in this case, that guy is a fraud. He's a fake and a fraud. Now, he wanted to do a reaction video on the video I put out the other day, and he wanted to back up my troll that came to life. Well, folks, here we go. We're going to have to do a little reaction to his reaction, and I'm going to show you where a guy that's renowned for being so good at his technical, ability to really look into video footage and dissect what kind of car it is and angles of camera and the audio. I'm going to show you how dumb this guy really is in this video, considering that he's got all those skills, because I believe he does have those skills, but I believe that he only uses those skills in a way that's designed for him to use them by the feds, because he is a Fed for sure. Let's take a look.
And then I'm alive. I'll be alive. What's this? What did you? Well, I had done this before. I had not been, Blue Street, the operating system in his house was ending. I had done this before. It actually showed me some videos of me. Here it is again. It's important. Here's the video camera. I look at how it's oriented. It is oriented out towards the pumps and the intersection.
Yeah, it was oriented what? Out towards the pumps. Out towards the pumps. It's exactly where it's oriented there, buddy. Well, let's take a look here. So, you'll see right here we've got the A&W gas station. Right here is where he's showing this video. And just like I said in my video, if they have a camera there, it's going to be pointed at the gas pumps, just like this one is. They probably have one on the other side over there too, you can find, pointed right towards the gas pumps, which means the video camera is going to go through and capture everything in this angle. Now, could it possibly, out of the corner of the camera, capture down here? It's possible. If it does, it's probably not going to catch much of a view of anything. It's because they're aimed at the gas pumps right here. at the gas pumps. Not on Louder, not on Highway 95 or Main Street, as you can see right there. See, this is Steiner. Now, he wants to use the PCA and say that the words are very, very important, where it says at Highway 95, on Steiner, at Highway 95. See, this at word that he keeps saying is so important to use because it has meaning, but nothing else in it has any meaning. The fact that it's Steiner Avenue has no meaning. The fact that it says on this video is where it appears it doesn't have a front license plate doesn't have any meaning. And the only word that he even acknowledges is appears, to make it sound like, well, it appears to not have a front license plate. That means it may or it may not. No, that means it doesn't have a front license plate. It's on Steiner, and right here, not 30, 40 feet from Highway 95, I would consider that at Steiner Avenue at Highway 95. I certainly wouldn't consider this gas station video up here to capture anything. But let's watch as this guy, because he obviously didn't watch my whole video until he did his reaction. And when you talk about reactions, I think it's hilarious when we look at his reaction.
So let's get that down, shall we? Because we notice, well, it doesn't say without a front license plate, but then it says it appears.
It appears. It appears.
Wording is important. Appears.
Wording is important, appears, but the wording of Steiner has no importance. The wording of on this video, you can't see his front license plate, that isn't important, but appears is. Appears.
Highway 95, where's this camera that could have got such a good view of the vehicle, of the front of the vehicle, that it didn't have a front license plate? Front license is this license. License right here. Appears. It's stalking people around. Stuff in the yard, I don't know. Look at that, it's a great view. It's an excellent view. This guy's a gaslighter. Look what an excellent view is. It's obvious it's got to be this one, right? It's got to be this camera.
You see right here, folks, this tells me, because he's pointing over to this house with all the bushes talking about what a great view, that tells me that he did not watch all of my video before he did his reaction video, because he would have not have made that statement that he just made. And you'll notice how he's very laid back and calm and making fun of my accent, which is fine. I don't care about all that. But I want you to notice here in just a moment, because he's going to stop being calm and relaxed and making fun of my accent and saying how stupid I am when I show him this camera and he sees it with his own eyes. Now, you don't believe your own lying eyes when you look at the camera, folks, because that's what he's going to suggest. But unfortunately for him, he wasn't prepared for it. So when he suggests it, he does it in the most frightening manner I've ever heard him, be in. He will literally freak out. Listen to how he freaks out when he sees this camera.
It's obvious. Little apartment building or something over there. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Here's a light pole. Oh, a light pole. What is on this light pole right here? What's on that light pole? What is this on this light pole right here? Oh, is that a camera? It is. Look, there's a camera on the light pole. And it's aimed backwards towards the road right here. See this camera right here, folks? See how it's aimed down at the road right here? Without camera vehicles as they drive up the road. That's not a camera. These things are on all poles like this.
Now remember, he said that, folks. He said these things, because he doesn't know what it is. He says these things are on all poles like this. Remember, he said that.
Oh my God, that is such full crap. That is not a camera.
Notice how his voice and everything about the way he was talking has changed. This guy has just freaked out. Now listen to his words closely right here.
That is not a camera. Why would they put a camera here? Okay? Why would they put a camera here? It can't be the homeowner. You're not allowed to put cameras on utility poles, okay? So it's not the homeowner. And why would the municipality put a camera there when you're coming up on an intersection where there may or may not be cameras at the intersection? I don't know. But we already know from Mallory, they don't even keep that footage. So,
we already know from Mallory that they don't even keep that footage. See, that's the most important thing that he said right there in the whole thing is, is he refers to Mallory as the end all be all. What Mallory says goes as far as this guy's opinion is. If Mallory says it, then it must be true. So Mallory says they don't even keep that footage. Well, I can tell you what, get a clue. They better have kept this footage, because if they don't have it, and that's the one that's clearly written on the PCA that got the front license plate not being there, that's the one the FBI determined was a 2011 to 2013. They better have that footage from this camera, because while Get a Clue doesn't know what that is, and it's easy to understand why he doesn't. What is this? It's on every pole. Well, it's not on every pole. I'll show you that here in just a minute, because that is a very specific type of camera. And I wouldn't expect him to know what it is, because even though he's a Fed, he's not a field Fed, okay? He is a computer Fed that's job is to sit at a computer and spread misinformation and try to guide the public narrative on different subjects. He was probably one of the ones sitting there deleting people's comments about the COVID-19 pandemic. But that right there is a camera there, Get a Clue. And you know what type of camera it is? It is a speed monitoring camera. They're a very specific type. They put them on poles, and when somebody is speeding, it will take a picture of their license plate. It actually will take a picture of them even if they're not speeding, but they'll record the picture of the license plate when they are speeding down this road. That's why it's not at an intersection, because that is a camera used by the municipality to record people speeding. And yes, just like at a traffic light, if you run through it and there's a traffic light camera, they will take a picture of your license plate and they'll mail you a ticket. You drive down Steiner right there too fast, buddy, and it catches your license plate, you're going to get a ticket in the mail for speeding. And study a little bit more, think a little harder, and you'll figure that out. But listen to this guy freak out.
If it was even the municipality, they wouldn't have this footage. So it's not.
They wouldn't have this footage if it was the municipality. They wouldn't have it. They don't have it. Do you see what I mean? Whenever you point out something that is truly going to be exculpatory to Bryan Kohberger, this guy has a conniption fit. He's already setting the stage for the narrative that the municipality, the city, won't have the footage. Well, Ann Taylor, believe me, I know this guy right here has lost his mind on the fact that he used to have people in his comment section that he would steer down the wrong direction. He did it for a long time, and they were associated with Bryan Kohberger's defense team. And he no longer has those people, and he is fighting hard to get them back. And yes, you're right, Get a Clue. They are in my comment section now. I know exactly who they are, and I'm glad that they're listening to me and not you, because you would definitely continue to steer them away from the evidence that's needed. So, Ann Taylor, you need to get your investigative team, go to the speed limit determining camera on Steiner Road. That's the one that caught the front license plate not being on Bryan Kohberger's car. That's the one that the FBI expert determined to be a 2011 to 2013. Find that footage. There's your exculpatory evidence. If you cannot get that footage, then they have destroyed it, and you know what to do when, from there. Go ahead and get your motions ready. But yeah, sorry there, bud. You're not going to win on this one. Okay, well, let's just go verify that that Mr. Disinformation is not correct, because he says these are on every one of these types of light poles. Now, I don't know if he means every single light pole or just the ones with the circuit breakers. I don't know what he means by that, but remember this image right here. Let's go look. Are they on every one of them? I don't think the city has that much money. I'm sure they'd like to put them on every one of them, but I just don't think they got that much money to do it. Let's check this light pole. Where is that thing at? He says they're on every, oh, they're not on this one, is it? Huh, not, this one doesn't have a circuit breaker though. So there, this next one has a circuit breaker, it looks like. Let's see, where did it go? Here it is. Let's see, we'll do it right here. Should be a pole here with one of those cameras on it, huh? Oh, this one doesn't have one either, huh? But they're on every one of those poles there. Get a clue, aren't they? Because you're, an expert and you know everything and you're right and everybody's wrong. Turns out, no, I don't think you're right on this one. I think maybe you and Vivian are incorrect once again. Let's see, maybe it's this one. Let's check this one. Did I go too far? Where is this pole at? Oh, there's right there. Let's go out in the street here. Look back at it, because this one's obviously gonna have one, right? I don't know what that thing is. That's kind of interesting, but no, this one doesn't seem to have one either. Huh, there's a circuit breaker, but no speed limit camera. Huh. Well, let's just, he said that they all had them, so I don't know. Let's see here. What is this? Has it got one on this one? No, doesn't have one on that one, but again, that one doesn't have a circuit breaker. Let's see, let's go back over here. Did we already look at this one or not? Yeah, I think that's that one we looked at. Now, it does have a strange looking thing hanging right there. I bet you that's something. But it's not a speed monitoring camera. Let's see here. Oh, this one's got a circuit breaker. Let's see. Let's check this one. This one. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I've lost it. There it is. Come on. Come on down the road, Google. Okay, focus in now. This one is bound to have one, right? And well, no, you know what? You know what, guy? You're not right again. You're wrong again. Hey, you know what? You're wrong again. So when he clearly looks at a speed monitoring camera and tells you not to believe your own lying eyes, well, that is the ultimate gaslight, and that is a misinformation specialist. It sounds just like MSNBC. Don't believe your lying eyes. So, don't believe your lying eyes, I guess. Anyway, folks, he's a Fed. I'm done with him. I'm not going to bring him up again. I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking about it. I'll go ahead and put it out there. He made one statement that I wouldn't say it to his face. No, I would give just about anything to say it to his face. In fact, to prove you're not a Fed there, get a clue, let me put a challenge out to you. And you can pick the venue and let's sell some pay-per-view for it. Is anybody out there is interested? I formally challenge Get a Clue to a sanction. We can do boxing, we can do MMA, whatever he wants. Let's do 3-minute rounds. You pick the place, I'll be there. And you know what? We'll sell pay-per-view. We'll get a referee, and you and I can step into the ring, and we can settle this thing man to man. I'll show you who will say something to your face or not. If you had a hair on your butt, you'd say yes. My thoughts is you don't. Yeah, you don't, and I guarantee you won't get in the ring with me, buddy. But please like and subscribe to the channel. Post your thoughts, post your criticisms. I'm done talking about Get a Clue, Bryan Kohberger, whatever he wants to call himself, Fed. I'm done talking about the Fed and all the other haters. I'm getting back on the investigation, and we're going to dive into this thing. And we've got right at a year now, a little less than a year, to get the defense team prepared for trial, because this thing ain't going to go like they want it to go when we're done. Pavarotti out.